So all these painful workouts he makes you guys go through, we're getting even with him right now. One. Yeah. You afraid to come see me? I'm gonna stick my elbow and I'm just gonna push him sideways.
What's up, guys? Coach AP here. Today I'm with Brian Sanders down at Thumbs Up. This is actually my uncle, and so I thought it'd be fun to come down here. He actually works on me for my performance stuff, but I also send clients to him for more injuries that have happened and they're just nagging, or people going through stress. People are just tight, and he really loosens people up and helps them a lot with a lot of pain. So today we're gonna roll through a lot of pain on me and we're gonna get me fixed up, and I thought it'd be good for you guys to see how these tactics that he uses might be able to benefit you. If you ever want to come down and visit him in the Coeur d'Alene area, I think it'd be super beneficial. So anyways, what are we doing today, Uncle Brian?
Well, first thing, we're going to check your hips and see how your pelvis is moving. So I'm going to have you face that way.
Okay.
And keep going so we can get a shot of your hiney here.
Oh.
So we're going to find your PSIS, your posterior superior iliac spine. And I'm going to have you bend like you're going to touch your toes, best you can. And I don't know if you can see it with the camera, but he's got what we call a right jump, meaning my right thumb went up. So that tells me that his left side is kind of locked up and his right side's kind of hypermobile. So I'm going to have him lay on the table with his head right there.
Okay.
And we're going to look at the front of his pelvis. Okay, I'm checking out his ASIS now, his anterior superior iliac spine, and his hips are sitting like this. So since he had a right jump, I'm going to reference everything from the right side. So we're saying he has a right anterior rotation. Now you may go to a chiropractor or another body worker type person that uses different nomenclature, but this is with the muscle energy type. So. Okay, what I'm going to do is find a loose pack with his leg and have him barely lift it off my hand. It doesn't take much. He's going to hold it there for about 6 seconds and relax. And we're going to do it again. Relax. And one more time. And relax. And I recheck it, and his hips have gone from here to here now. So now we've got the front kind of balanced out. We're going to flip him over on his belly. Go ahead and slide up in the headrest there. And put his arms down by his sides. Perfect. Now I'm going to check out his sit bones, or his ischial tuberosities. And when I push up on him, the left one hits first and the right one goes up. So he's kind of off kilter there. So what I'm going to do is take his leg and put it on some traction and have him give me a good smoker cough. Good. And what that does when he coughs is that kind of resets it. And I recheck him here, and he's nice and level now. It's not up. So next thing I'm going to check are his ILS, his inferior lateral edges of his sacrum, and when I check those, again, his left one hits first and his right one's up. And now I'm going to check his sacral sulcus here, which is just off of his SI joint, and what I see is his right one is deeper. So he's got a left ILA, inferior lateral angle, and a deep right sacral sulcus on a right oblique angle. So what we're going to do is have him lay on his right side.
Got the nomenclature going today. I love it.
Okay, I'm going to have him drop his shoulder back, bring his leg ahead, straighten him out here. And then I'm going to move his left leg here till I just feel that SI joint move. Go ahead and barely lift. And I'm going to have him hold again for those 6 seconds. Relax. Again. Relax. And once more. And relax. relax. And back on your tummy. So we're going to recheck our work here and check his ILAs, inferior lateral angles, and they're good and level. And check those sacral sulcus, and they're good and even now. So his sacrum is balanced back out. He had what's called a sacral torsion. Okay, next I'm going to check right at his L4-5 here, right above his hip bones, and that looks good and level. And I'm going to check up through the lumbar, and all that looks good and level. Next, I'm going to have him come up on his elbows, which is going to put him into extension. And recheck those. And right now, he's sitting like this. So his L4-5 is kind of rotated to the right and side bent to the right in extension. So that means it's stuck in flexion. So I'm going to have him lay on his right side again. And keep his shoulders neutral. And bring both knees up. So now I've got him in flexion again here. And I'm going to check that movement. Right when I feel that L4-5 move, I'm going to have him lift his ankles off my hand. And hold that there for that magical 6 seconds. Relax. Let it drop. There you go. Lift. Hold. Relax. Once more. And relax. Okay, then we're going to have him go back into extension and recheck. And that looks great, so that fixed that little problem. Now I'm going to have him go into flexion, so he's going to get on his hands and knees and arch it up like a mad kitty cat. Put that way up. Yeah. Now he's got a big time rotation there. So when he's flexed, it means that his right side wants to stay in extension from about L1, 2, and 3 up. Yeah, maybe you can see that. Arch it way up. See, I don't know if you can see, but this side's quite a bit higher than this side. Okay, I want you to lay back on your right side because we're going to put the high side up. All the way down. This time I want you right along the edge of the table here with your legs straight. So that part of his back is moving well in extension, so I'm going to go to about that L3 area with my fingers and put him into extension and find when that segment moves. Go ahead and lift. And he's going to lift that up. Relax, which is contracting those muscles over that high side. Lift, hold, which is going to hopefully spin them back into place. Relax. Once more. And relax. Okay, let's have him do that mad kitty cat again. And that looks a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and flip around. I don't know if they can see, but we'll try and show them here. So yeah, so that's good and level across there now. So that popped that back up. Okay, lay back on your tummy. Now the fun stuff begins.
Oh, this is where the screaming begins, guys. You get a witness. That was like the intro, just to kind of give you a teaser, and now this is the good stuff. I should have said that at the beginning.
Right.
Make sure you stick around for Austin screaming at the end. That's what I should have said.
So what I'm going to do now is kind of check his calves.
Oh,
and they're a bit tight there.
Yeah.
So the calves are innervated by the L5-S1 nerve root here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the heel of my hand and put it right at the top of his sacrum, and I'm going to push down on it for about 2 minutes. So what this is doing is this is opening up that space and taking the pressure off the nerves that are going out of there and feeding his calves. You know, basically it's kind of taking gravity away for a while. So we're going to hold him here. It's kind of boring to watch me shove down.
Yeah, I think it's a question. So with most people, when we work together, right, and I feel like a lot of people, it really all starts with the hips. It seems like.
Yep.
So there's people think of their hips, you know, they have hip pain and all that, but the reality with their joints there, I mean, there could be, you said, I had torsion, I had some rotation, some elevation, some all kinds of different stuff. And how do people
normally develop that kind of stuff? What tends to happen or be the culprit?
Well, it can be an injury. It can be just, everyday life. I mean, you look at people that cross their legs, they usually just cross their legs in one way. So what that's going to do is that's going to shorten one side of your back and lengthen the other. And over time, that's going to create an imbalance. So if you have to cross your legs, try to cross them both ways equally to at least get a good stretch going. Injury, of course, a variety of injuries could cause any of that. And, bad habits like the leg crossing or just some innocuous activity that you do every day, just, maybe all one-sided so that you are putting too much pressure on one side and not enough on the other. So you want to even things out, so to speak. And that just requires being able to notice what you're doing.
Yeah, I've seen that with your tendencies, your natural habits, your day-to-day, even this, like your walking, your strike pattern, like how you walk, how you hike, how you do, a bunch of different stuff. Previous injuries contribute, but
Right.
on the sports performance, like let's say you're lifting weights or you're doing some form of activity, have you noticed, I mean, it seems to me what I'm seeing, and I have people send me videos and all
How's
that.
that feel now?
It's really good.
Good.
It's really loose.
Good.
But it's really with a lot of, like, the activation of the muscle, like people have a tendency to be lopsided, it seems like.
Yeah, really, really lopsided. And most people in everyday life are going to notice it much, but when you start throwing a lot of weight around, if you've got a muscle imbalance, it's going to potentially lead to a bad injury, or overuse type of thing that may really hurt you. Any tenderness on the outside here?
Not as much as I thought there was going to be.
Good. How about right in here?
A little tight, but not terrible.
Is one side worse than the other?
That right side.
Right side. So what I'm checking here are kind of areas of what are called his dermatomes, and I've got a little chart on the wall there. But his L3 dermatome kind of comes to the outside of his legs, and his L2 dermatome kind of comes from here, and his L1's up in his hips. You've got your L4 and L5 down here more on the sides of your calf and into your foot. But since he's got some more tenderness on the right side than the left, we're going to open up that with what's called Brian's spine bending technique. So I'm going to find that tender spot again. Then I'm going to come up here and right at the bottom of his ribs and the top of his pelvis. That's about your L3 there, and that's about your L1. So I'm going to go right in the middle of them. And I'm going to stick my elbow, and I'm just going to push him sideways. And I'm going to give it a few seconds here to open that up. How's that feel now, Austin? Good. So what I've done is I've taken the spine and I've opened up that segment where that nerve's coming out that's working this area. And what I'm doing is I'm stretching right on the spine the little rotator and multifidi muscles that kind of help stabilize and rotate the spine. And sometimes they'll spasm up over that nerve root and cause a little sensation down here. And with the way his lumbar was kind of rotated and whatnot, I wanted to make sure to check that to find out how it's going in here. So we'll give this the magical couple of minutes and release that. So it doesn't, I heard one time, and this is just something I heard years and years ago, is that the pressure of a quarter on a nerve can decrease the nerve like 30% effectiveness or something. So
Really?
Yeah, and of course, most stats are made up on the spot, which that definitely was. So this is just something I heard from a chiropractor years and years ago. So, I all I know is when I relieve the pressure on here, the tonicity of the muscle really relaxes and the pain goes away and the function returns. So.
Yeah, I could already feel that, and just relieving that, I could definitely feel a difference for the level of tightness. Just even going the insertion on my hamstring, just back in there.
Right. There we go. Going to release that, straighten him back out, and recheck. How's that feel now?
Yeah, a lot better.
Good. Any tenderness on the lateral aspect of your hip there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is one side worse than the other?
They're pretty equal, but
about the same?
yeah.
Okay, good. Next, I'm going to check his tailbone. Okay, if I poke your tailbone?
Mm-hmm.
Any pain right on the tailbone?
A little bit of tenderness, yeah.
Is it more right, left, or center?
Go back to the right. Yeah, right.
Okay. So what I'm doing here is his sacrum was obviously displaced with the torsion a bit earlier. How's that? Oh. And if I find just the right vector here, leaning on his sacrum, how about now?
Yep, we're going away.
Okay. So if you take a shot of the anatomy chart there, if you see the sacrum, it's all encased in white, so it's all connective tissue. So everything basically is connecting right there in your lower body. So when his sacrum was torqued, it had pulled it a little funny, and it had left a little extra stress on the right lower edge of his coccyx and sacrum down there. So what I'm kind of doing is I'm kind of doing a slow shove to take the stretch out of that muscle and put it into a relaxed state, which will again line up that sacrum a little better and take the pain out of that area where it's connecting.
Yeah, it seems to be, for me at least, I don't know if you've seen it with a lot of people, but that sacrum just shifts. My sacrum and then the SI joints on the side just seem to be my... Is that developed just from sports and stuff over time, or I know injuries could definitely contribute, but...
Yeah, injuries, and I think, not people not doing a good flexibility program, and, there's a lot of good yoga people out there, and, a lot of good people that do some good stretches, and... but it's hard to incorporate all of that stuff into your day, but there we go. How's that now?
Yeah, a lot better.
Good. Then I'm going to check up the sacrum here. Okay through there?
Yep.
Good. Okay, now we've got his hips are balanced out, the lumbar is moving like it's supposed to, and we've got things stretched out to reduce the nerve stuff. And so now I'm going to take my elbow and go into his hamstrings here, which is fun for me and not so much for him. I'm stretching, working kind of that edge of that vastus lateralis, his IT band, and a or biceps femoris, I guess I'm more on here. Yeah, and I'll either kind of work up and down and across, just kind of finding those tight spots in the muscle and just kind of manually stretching them here. It's kind of those pinpoint areas. Good. Oh, yeah. And if you get them grunting, you know you got a good spot. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm holding till I feel the muscles start to release, and then I know that that it's loosened up and I can move on to another spot. Yeah, a lot of this was taught to me by an old trainer named Al Wilder, who's since passed away. He was a Pearl Harbor survivor and a charter member of the National Athletic Trainers Association, and he was from an era back in the Willie Mays and Pete Rose days in pro baseball where they were lucky if they had an ice machine and a whirlpool, so he learned how to use his hands and passed that on to me, and I've had a lot of people crying over the years from it. Yeah, I've been using his techniques since 1979, so...
That's crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we can feel that's not going to be good.
There's a good one there, so we'll see if we can get that stretched a little bit. And then, of course, when they start to release, it's hard to stay right on top of them, but... Good. Good. I'm going to check around his ischial tuberosity here. And go down and check the adductors a bit. Got all those adductors, magnus, longus, brevis, gracilis, and all those on the inside there that they actually feel fairly decent.
Yeah, you need to work them out more, shit.
Yeah, so now I'm going to hit his glutes here. You know, the maximus kind of covers up the gluteus medius and minimus and tensor fascia. So we're just going to kind of roll through there, and I'm just looking for hard or sticky spots that don't feel right. Then I'm moving up into the lumbar here and checking out the good old QL, the quadratus lumborum, and yeah, his is good and tight there. Nice. And then we'll do a repeat on the other side.
Yeah, those people.
Now, as you can see, you know, Austin had a knee injury in high school, and you know, even that long ago, he's still got a little bit of a discrepancy in his calves that you can see here.
Oh,
There's a little nugget hiding in there. I think a lot of these, you know, a lot of you, I don't know if you work with people that work with fascia and whatnot, but I think a lot of these kind of sticky spots from old injuries or where the fascia is kind of adhered to the muscle, and you know, there's some fascia masters around that are excellent at getting rid of that, those sticky spots. But it's usually painful.
yeah.
Which is always fun for me.
What I usually notice is with, not necessarily just for like someone just trying to lose some body fat, but for my athletes that are going through different seasons of, you know, trying to build muscle, and the length of time they're in, you know, progressive overload, and they're increasing calories and they're in a surplus. And then over time, everybody's a little different, but when you're really getting to the end stage where you're overreaching, you know,
Yep.
that's where the fat, like, it just seems like their body really gets tight, and that just bounding up of fascia and
Right. Yeah.
all that. So that's why I usually say, you know, we got to take a deload, take some time to pull all that volume back, but also you should get in somewhere like yourself,
Yeah.
and get loosened back up. Just allow the body to
Find
just
somebody that's doing some deep tissue or some fascia work, and have them work you over.
Because you notice a huge difference. You know, you can pull back volume and bring up, you know, your food and all that stuff from what I do, but then there's certain parts from the central nervous system are just the taxing on the body. To actually fully let it, like, say, hey, I can chill for a second, because cortisol's pumping all the time, even if you take time off, but your body's so damn tight.
Right.
I can't relax.
Yeah, and of course hydration's super important too with all that. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I've finished with the lumbar and his lower body here, so now I'm going to start working his thorax here, and we've got the erector spinae muscles here that, you know, start connecting down here and come up to the back of his skull. I'm going to go up and I'm going to stretch him medially, and then I'm going to come back down and stretch him laterally. You know, we usually stretch them pretty good in flexion and extension, but the medial and lateral is about impossible to do, so that's what I get in there and do. And again, I'm looking for little tight or sticky spots or ropes or anything, and you know, these are a little sticky, but not too bad. He's not as bad as some of the times I've worked on him anyway.
Yeah. This is the one you need to do on Kaylee.
Yeah.
Damn, her traps and just everything up there is so bound up.
She's afraid to come see me. There's a nice little one. So I'm right at the top of the shoulder blade now, where, you know, you've got your rhomboids coming up under those erector spinae, and you've also got that levator scapulae right here at the top. I call it the headache muscle. It kind of hooks on at the top of the scapula and comes up and hooks in the side of the top of your neck there. And if it gets bound up, it can pull your neck all goofy and give you a headache. So I'm on his trap here as well, and down here is some of his lats too that come up in here. So a lot going on in the back. So now I'm going to stretch this side medially. Good, getting a little squealing going on. That's always fun for me.
I can imagine the clips nose going to put together just different position. I'm just, just screaming.
Yeah. So all these painful workouts he makes you guys go through, we're getting even with him right now.
To send this out to my clients. If you ever hated me, here's your.
Yeah. Nice. Very good. Okay, now we're going to stretch him laterally here. So I'm getting right, got the spinous processes coming up here, and that's right. I'm going to get right in between those with my elbow and my forearm and just pull him laterally. And again, I'm looking for those sticky spots or ropes or hard spots, and or pain. Sometimes we'll hit a painful spot and it doesn't feel sticky or sharp, but that could mean that some of the ribs are stuck underneath, or they'll say a rib popped out, which is kind of neither here nor there. The way the ribs attach to the spine is they're actually cartilage where they attach to the spine, and then they turn into bone as they come out a little farther. Sometimes those little muscles, like we were talking about, the rotator multifidi muscles, will lock down a segment in there, and we'll have to get in there, and I'll use that Brian spine bending technique, and I'll find that painful spot, and I'll go to the opposite side and push there to stretch out those little rotator multifidi muscles that aren't allowing that segment to move and the rib to be quote unquote out, and that'll usually relieve it. Ooh, yeah. So we're up here at the top of the back and that thoracic spine where all those little muscles are that we're loosening up. And by the way, he is sweating. So.
I was just about to say, if you can't see it on camera, the amount of profuse sweating I'm doing right now. Yeah. That's how you know it's working, right?
Yeah, exactly. There we go. And once in a while, with even just the stretching, you'll get some adjustments that'll happen, the clicking and popping, and that's perfectly normal. Again, that's not what I'm striving for. What I'm striving for is just to get the muscles loosened up and things moving like they're supposed to, and a lot of times there will be some releases or adjustments along with that. With the real live stuff, you need to go see a chiropractor for. That's I like to say they work with the hardware and I work with the software. So it is pretty beneficial if you do have a good chiropractor to get some body work done before you go see them, because then the muscles are all loose and their adjustments will go a lot easier and they'll hold quite a bit longer.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the chiropractors I work with here are Rich May and Jeannie Nugent here at the Blue Chip Complex in Coeur d'Alene, and they're both excellent. Rich is probably the best sports chiropractor I've seen. He's amazing. Really works well with extremity stuff, and we tag team on a lot of people. I got some of the local bodybuilders here.
Oh, really?
See him quite a bit. Amanda and Josh and Joel and all those guys. Yeah, now I'm checking out his rotator cuff. This is his infraspinatus here.
Ooh. Ooh, yeah.
And there's a nice little tight spot. Good. Get over here on the edge where that teres major, which isn't part of the rotator cuff, and the teres minor, which is. Over here on the edge, we'll make sure those are not binding up. Then we'll get up here and where that lat attachment is, up under the deltoid. Check that. Those triceps where they're coming through there. Nice. Very good. Yeah. So this is just, I'm just kind of taking that tight muscle and I'm just kind of mashing it. You know, if you take a steak from the store and you squeeze it, what happens? It gets longer. So that's kind of what I'm doing with here with this good old steak of a tricep. You know. Then we get down into the forearm here. And a lot of times, as you know, these will get tight with the deads and cleans and all those kind of things you do. And again, we're just kind of stretching by compression here. Good. So I'll go check out this side. Check out that infraspinatus. There's a little tickler. Teres major and minor over there. Work our way up into the lat, into the deltoid, tricep up in there. Feeling pretty good. Mash that tricep a little bit. Check out that forearm.
Change my flexors, just immediately close my hand when you're
doing
that.
Well, that's what they do. They contract, so that makes them close. Okay, now we're going to jump up to the neck here.
Oh, this is where the good shit happens.
So, you know, you've got those erector spinae that are connecting right up at the base of the skull here. You know, here's his occiput right in the middle. So I'm just going to start kind of right at the edge of it. And just kind of loosen up where they're attaching up there. Any pain there at all? Austin's doing pretty good. This is usually where they start deifying me. And we'll go see how the other side's doing here. Check where these scalenes and those traps and this SCM or the sternocleidomastoid right in there. Again, I'm just looking for tight and sticky spots. And, you know, right here at the brachial plexus at C3, 4, and 5, where all the nerves come out to kind of work your shoulder and arm. Sometimes you'll get on those and you get a zing down your arm or feel it in your thumb. Or that's pretty good though. Nice. Excellent. Okay, let's flip you. You got a nice little puddle of sweat.
You want to see what's been going on up here, though. Trying to hold it together.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Woo!
All right. Okay, now I got him on his back. I'm going to check and see if his IT band is sticky. Oh, and it is. Okay. Yep, they both are. So, quick anatomy lesson for everybody here. So, your IT band is this white band that goes down the outside of your leg. Now, it's fibrous tissue, so it can't be stretched. So, it's a misnomer that I need to stretch my IT bands because it ain't happening. What happens is it hooks into the knee here, it hooks up into your hip, your butt, and your low back. And what happens is it'll stick to this muscle underneath here, your vastus lateralis. And when that happens, whenever you're taking a step, doing a squat, doing a lunge, is it's supposed to glide, but it doesn't. Instead, it pulls, so it can cause this knee pain, hip pain, low back pain, even some butt pain and whatnot. So people that say, oh, gee, I don't remember hurting my knee, but all of a sudden it hurts in here. That's probably the IT band sticking. And it's real easy to check in that you just put it at a 90-degree angle here and make sure the hips stabilize and push across. His isn't even going to his belly button. It should be clear over here. So we have to do, unfortunately, what's called the cheese grater. So I'm going to take my cheese grater here, and I'm going to go down the anterior, the lateral, and the posterior part of his IT band in a grating motion. And he's going to love every minute of it. Hang in there. There's 1, 2, one more. 3. Okay, now here's the fun part. Isn't that crazy how much motion that gains? And it's so fun. Okay, here we got another one. Oof. 1, 2, one more. 3, nicely done. Bloomp. So that's how they're supposed to look.
I'm glad we got him. Look how they're supposed to.
Now I'm going to check out his pecs here. Got the major and the minor under my elbow. I'm just kind of doing a general stretch on them here. All you that do those any benchy type movements, these will get tight. I'm going to kind of go right over the biceps tendon here and just apply some pressure straight down. Then we're going to check out the last of the rotator cuff muscles in here, your subscap. We got your supraspinatus when I was on his back working on his elbow. A little tightness, not horrible though. Good. I kind of want to check out his range of motion. That looks good. Good. Yeah, he's popping up a little bit there, so the biceps tendon's a little sticky here, so we're just going to go back and forth across it, kind of a cheese grater-y thing there on the biceps tendon. And yeah, he lays down nice and flat now. Good stretch. Nice. Yeah, that feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Good. Good. Oh, that one's good. Now, I've given the IT bands a second to calm down. I'm just going to kind of stretch his quads out a little bit. So just kind of hit the lateral aspect of there and just kind of roll it to the middle. Good old vastus lateralis. Got the vastus intermedius and rectus femoris here that we're just going to kind of give a little pressure stretch too. Good. The good old VMO, vastus medialis obliquus. We'll just check it out. Seems pretty good.
You said you wanted to go next, right?
Yeah, Austin's brother, the cameraman Noah, hasn't been under my thumb before, so I'm giving him a little bit of a hard time here.
Can't even touch my toes.
Oh, you'll touch him when I'm done with you. No, just kidding. Good. Yeah, that's pretty good. 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 Okay. Now we're just going to do a little stretch. So I'm going to scoop his opposite shoulder and block his opposite hip here and just kind of pull apart. And that really good kind of twisty stretch for the thorax there. Yeah, squeeze it out of everybody. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay his spine right along my hand here and just do kind of a traction stretch. Just going to kind of lean on top of him here and just kind of rock back and forth. That just kind of opens up the spine a little bit. There we go. Now jump up and tell me you feel all better.
Hey!
So we're going to check his hips again here. So I'm going to find his posterior superior iliac spine right there and have him bend forward like he's going to touch his toes. Right. And as the right thumb didn't jump up that time, so his hips are back normal.
So anyways, guys, hopefully that was valuable to you. I wanted to really come in and have my uncle show, I mean, he's very obviously knowledgeable, and it was a huge help to me. I already feel looser, and then you'll go through, sometimes if you have an injury, I feel like you'll have that soreness for a day, and then you usually have them ice it, kind of get the soreness out. But the difference of just how you feel, the stress, the energy is significantly different, falling for the whole entire next week, So anyways, from a functional standpoint of just every day, super beneficial if you're in the Northwest area in Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Rathdrum. I would strongly recommend coming and seeing him, even if you don't even have an injury. If you do, definitely. Even if you don't though, a tune-up, it's made a world of difference. And if you're an athlete like me trying to grow muscle or get stronger, whatever, when you're just putting so much tax on the body all the time, it's inevitable you're going to have things start shifting around. And this is super beneficial to not only prevent injury, but it has helped me, I feel like, actually become a better athlete for sure. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you, Uncle Brian.
All right,
I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next time.